Hello everyone, welcome back to our Rust programming tutorial series. In this video, we will deep dive into one of the most fundamental and unique concept in Rust, that is ownership and borrowing. This concept help Rust to manage memory efficiently and safely without needing a garbage collector. By the end of this video, you will have a strong understanding of how ownership, borrowing, and reference work in Rust. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so introduction to ownership and borrowing. Okay, so like as we discussed, Rust ensures memory safety without garbage collector using ownership and borrowing concept. Okay, so these are the fundamental concept in Rust. Okay, and they help manage memory efficiently. So this is the basic thing. Okay, so what is ownership? So in Rust, ownership is a system that manage memory safety at compile time. Okay, and ownership governs how Rust manages memory. Okay, and every value in Rust has an owner, and there can be only one owner at a time. So there are three main rules. One is each value in Rust has a single owner. Okay, and another one is when the owner goes out of scope, Rust automatically frees the memory. Okay, and third one is ownership can be transferred but not shared. Ownership can be transferred from one element to another but cannot be shared. Okay, and this is a simple example. Okay, so this is main function, and we are declaring one variable name s1, and this is a string. Okay, hello, and another one is s2. So what we are doing is we are transferring this s1 to s2. Okay, and if now we are printing s1, the value of s1, so it will give an error that is s1 is no longer valid. Okay, so let's test it. Let me copy this, and okay, we'll paste it and try to run it. So this is just a basic example. Okay, so let's run it. Yeah, here it is showing borrow of moved value s1. So this is the main error, value borrowed here after move. Okay, so in Rust, this is the main concept. What we did is we first declare the string variable, and then we transferred the variable to s2. So this is out of scope now. So s1 is transferred to s2. That's why s1 is not valid, no longer valid, and I'm calling it in fourth line. That's why it is giving an error. Okay, so yeah, this is the error, and if I call s2, it will work fine. Yeah, so it is printing hello. Okay, so what if we want to use this s1 after this as well, like we transferred this s1 to s2, and in some scenarios we need to call this s1 after this situation as well. Then how we can do it? So we will do one thing, like we will just borrow this s1, okay, and transfer this to s2. We will not pass whole ownership to s2. So okay, so this is another concept of borrowing. We'll cover this in later. Okay, so yeah, this example we test. and another one is semantics. Okay, so as we did in previous example, so this is all this like when assigning a variable to another. Okay, so what we were doing in our previous is we were just assigning uh, this s1 to another. Okay, so what, so this is same things. Okay, so let's, okay, uh, when assigning a variable to another, ownership moves. Yeah, correct. And the original variable becomes invalid. Okay, we know that. And this example, let x, same, we create a string. Okay, and we are assigning variable to another, so we are assigning x to y. Okay, and then we are trying to print x, so this will cause an error definitely. We did in this previous, okay, slide. So let's move on next topic, that is borrowing and reference. So what is this? Borrowing allows using a variable without taking ownership. Interesting. Let's move on. Like references, and let multiple parts of the program access a value without moving it. Great. This is example, like let me copy and paste. Okay, so this is example. So what we are doing is this is main function, and this is another print length function. Okay, and what we are doing is we are creating a simple s1 variable. Okay, with the string hello, and we are just printing length. Okay, we are calling this function print length and passing the reference of the s1, not whole variable. Okay, please remember this, we are only passing a reference, not full variable. Okay, so this is a reference of s1 we are passing, and then we are just printing s1. Okay, so it will not cause any error. Okay, because we just pass reference, and we already we have s1 still. Okay, so that's why we are printing it here, and it will run definitely. So what we are doing here is we are just passing the s1 reference to print length functions. Okay, and it will just print the length. Okay, and then we are printing s1 value. So let's try to run it. Great. So the first output is length 5, and another one is hello. So we declare one s1, we pass the reference of the s1 to this to this function. Okay, and this is printing the length, that is 5, using this s dot length function. Okay, this is predefined function in Rust. Okay, and after this operation, we are printing the value of s. Okay, so let's try to remove this and test it. Okay, so it will give an error, mismatch type, expected and string. Okay, means this is a reference type. Okay, and we are passing, so let's try to remove this as well and run this. Yeah, so borrow of moved value, same issues. So in line 6 it is showing value moved here and value borrowed after here after move. Yes, we know, because in line 6 we pass whole value. Okay, whole s1, then we are trying to print s1 here, and this is invalid now because we pass the value of s1 to this function. Okay, and now the owner of this s1 is now this function, and we don't have this s1 now. This is no longer valid. That's why it is giving an error. Okay. So this is just a basic example. Let's move on to another topic. So this is mutable borrowing. Okay. So like what we are doing here is, let's take this example. And okay, so this is our borrowing example. So what we are doing in mutable borrowing is like end mute, this keyword which allows modifying a borrowed value. Okay, so this s1 is borrowed from this function. Okay, so in this function, like if I want to do some modification in s1, then I can't do that. Okay, and if we want to modify this s1 which we are passing in this function, then we need to make it this and mutable. Okay, so let's move only one mutable reference at a time. Okay, we can use only one mutable reference at a time. This is example. Let's try to copy it. So this is the same example. What we did is, let's try to just copy this. And make it and mute. So this is a parameter. Okay, and let's try to pass this s1 to println and mute s1, then just try to print s1. Okay, what is the error? Cannot borrow s1 as mutable as it is not declared as mutable. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is mute. I forgot to add this as a mutable. Okay, let's try to run now. So yeah, both strings are printed. So here is hello and this is world. So this is hello world. Okay, so let's try to understand it. So this is main function. Okay, what we did is we create one mutable variable name s1. Okay, and the value of this s1 is hello. Okay, hello, and we pass the s1 to this function. Okay, and we pass it as a mutable reference, not a simple reference. This is mutable reference. That means that this function can change the value of s1. And what this function is doing is just this is just a parameter of mutable string. This is a parameter which is end mute, that means reference of mutable value. And this is we are pushing string using this push str, then the string is world. So what is the output? Hello world. Great. And then we are printing s1. So this is hello world. And like if I will try to remove this mute, and from here as well I will remove, then it will give an error. Yeah. It is showing you need to add mute variable. Okay, because this is not mutable and we are trying to mutate it, like change it. Okay, so this is error, and we know how to solve this using this mute keyword. We need to make it mutable, again pass reference as mutable, and take parameter as mutable. Great. So this is hello world. Okay. And the rules of borrowing. So this is the rules. At any given time, either okay, one mutable reference or any number of immutable reference. Okay, so let me explain it again. So at any given time, either that can be one mutable reference or any number of mutable reference. Okay, that means like we can use multiple immutable reference same time, or we can either use one mutable reference only. Great. I will give an example of this in next few minutes. Okay, ensures safe concurrency. Okay, and this example. Okay, so there are two examples. One is error, cause and error example, and this is working example. So let's try to copy this first. Okay, so let's read this again. At any given time, either one mutable reference or any number of immutable reference we can use. So uh, this is mutable as variable, okay, as a string, and this is r1 another variable. What we are doing is we are just taking reference of s. Fine. In this variable same we are taking reference of s. Great. And in r3 we are taking reference of mutable. Okay, so it will work fine. Let's try to run it. Okay, this is hello, but if you noticed, like it is saying one mutable reference or any number of immutable reference, but we are doing here like we are using mutable reference and immutable reference as well. So what here is like this is reference of s, and again this is reference of s, like so now this r1 and r2 is no longer valid after this line. Okay, so let me comment here r1 and r2 is no longer valid. Okay, here r1 and r2 is no longer valid. That's why it is working fine, because we are passing this mutable reference as. Okay, and it is taking like we have previously uh, two variables with reference of s, but both are no longer valid. That's why it is working fine. And let's try to make it valid after this line as well by using by using this later, like here. If I use if I print this r1 here, then this is in use, so r1 is valid, here, and r2 is no longer valid only. So r1 is valid here. So if I try to run this program, then it will cause an error. Let's try. Okay, so this is giving an error, same errors, like immutable borrows occurs here at r1 equal to. Okay, and again we are doing mutable borrows occurs here, and immutable borrow later used here. So same situation happens here, and if I use r2 as well, then it will give same error. So same, R2 is no longer valid, so it is giving a error at R2. Okay, so yeah, this is the POC, proof of concept, of these two concept, like one mutable reference we can use, or at same time we cannot use immutable reference. Okay, so this is same example of this R1 and R2. Okay, so let's recap. So ownership prevents memory leaks, borrowing allow safe, concurrent, and data access. Okay, and you can follow Rust borrowing rules to avoid errors. Okay, and I suggest you guys to practice with small Rust program to master this concept. And if you want to learn Rust, then you can mm, read this documentation of official Rust programming language. Okay, and there are a lot of concept of Rust, so you can refer this book. And that's all for today's video. And if you find anything helpful in this video, then please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more Rust tutorial. And if you have any doubt, then please comment down in comment section. Thank you guys.